How do you respond when your child curses? That question comes up a lot, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Picture this. You're in the kitchen, you're unloading groceries, you're juggling a million things, when suddenly your child shouts a word that you really hoped they wouldn't learn. You freeze. What do? Do you ignore it? Do you yell? Do you run and grab that parenting book that you purchased but never read? If you've been there, welcome to the club. Today we're going to dive into how to respond without turning it into a crisis and without losing your shit or totally losing your sense of humor. Here's what we'll cover: why anger and punishment can backfire, why kids experiment with language, and how you can validate their feelings while setting boundaries without losing your mind. If you're new here, I want to offer you a special welcome. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you'll consider doing so and hit the like button if you like the video. All right, let's get into it. So first, I want you to know that kids experiment with language. They experiment. That's what cursing is to some degree. And it doesn't have to be the end of the world. It's actually developmentally appropriate. Kids are young scientists. They test out words the way they test out jumping off the couch, the way they test out everything: gravity, your patience, and yes, curse words. Sometimes they just want to see what happens. Other times they're copying that one kid at recess, or maybe, just maybe, they've overheard a certain someone yelling at traffic. And yes, sometimes they are experimenting with how to express their big emotions. But let's be honest, curse words are like forbidden fruit. The minute a kid figures out, oh, this word makes adults react, it becomes the most interesting word in their vocabulary. I call it the force field of no. The more we push back, the more they're like, challenge accepted. If you engage in a tug of war, usually nobody wins, and it's exhausting. And let's acknowledge, sometimes cursing is the lesser evil. Would you rather they say a bad word when they're frustrated or throw a toy across the room? If I had to choose, I would pick words over flying Legos any day. Now let's talk about why flipping out doesn't help. So imagine this. Your child drops a bad word and you snap. We do not speak that way. Well, guess what? You've just confirmed that that word has power. Even if they weren't looking for attention, they've now learned, hey, this gets a big reaction. And for some kids, any reaction, even a negative reaction, is worth it. Also, anger sets up a power struggle. So suddenly, it's not about why your child's upset. It's about who's in charge. And you already know that power struggles almost never end well. The more we dig in, the more our children dig in. It's like playing tug of war with a very determined puppy, and you're both exhausted. Nobody wins. So what can you do instead? Focus on what's behind the word. If your child yells, ugh, I hate this stupid homework, instead of zeroing in on the word stupid, try, wow, you seem really frustrated right now. It's not about approving of the word, it's about acknowledging the emotion. And when kids feel seen, they're less likely to escalate. And hey, if the cursing is more experimental than emotional, you can take a playful approach. One mom shared with me that her son kept saying, and I can't even say this without laughing, what the frittata? And honestly, she wasn't even sure if it counted as a curse. She leaned into it. Do you want frittata for lunch? Frittata rhymes with patata. What the patata? By turning it into a joke, you take the power out of the curse. Once the novelty wears off, it's usually over. You can also create a safe space for experimenting with language. For instance, you might say, at home, I'm prepared to be more lenient about bad words. You don't have to have a blanket you can curse all you want. You decide what your boundaries are. Every family is different. But you also want to tell them that at school or with grandparents, it's a good idea to be more careful. It's not about endorsing the words. It's about helping them learn when and where it's okay to experiment. You also want to share with them what the real-world consequences might be without lecturing them. Kids don't need a long lecture about why cursing is bad. They just need to know the basics. For example, you might say, hey, if you say that word at school, it could get you in trouble with your teacher. Short, sweet, and to the point. You're giving them the facts without turning it into a TED Talk. And here's the beauty of this approach. By keeping it low-key, you're showing your child that words don't need to be such a big deal. And when it's not a big deal, the thrill of pushing boundaries starts to fade. And let's not forget that kids are mirrors. If you're cursing like a sailor every time you stub your toe, guess what? They're taking notes. Modeling the language you want them to use goes a long way. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but a little self-awareness can make a big difference. Also know that you can set simple expectations, something like, it's okay to feel angry, but let's find another way to express that. Then redirect them to something more constructive. It's not about shutting them down, it's about teaching them how to navigate their emotions in a way that works. So to recap, Here's the game plan. Skip the anger, it backfires. Focus on the feelings, not the words. Create a safe space for experimentation, and keep the lectures short and sweet. Remember that cursing is just a phase. It's not a reflection of you or your parenting, regardless of what your mother-in-law says. Handle it with calm, humor, and a little patience, and you've got this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's worked for you when your child experiments with language? I'd love to hear your ideas in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more parenting tips. Let's navigate this wild parenting ride together, and I'll see you in the next one.